Human nature is a very interesting thing to look at. It's a concept that tells us the fundamental way of how a person thinks, feels, and acts. It's often something humans are all said to have naturally. Some say human nature is rigid, unchanging, whilst others view it as fluid. But this brings up the question, why does it manifest differently for everyone? Death Note, Monster, Perfect Blue, Parasite, Forgotten. Each and every one of these shows makes you question why characters do the things they do. Especially this show. What the hell is going on? These are questions I often find myself asking when reading or watching any works made by a man who goes by the name of Kaneshiro Muneyuki. Muneyuki is probably a name you are familiar with. He has made a ton of series in the past that are really good, such as this, and also this. But the most important work he has made that inspired the making of this video is this. So what makes Bakutachi ga yarimashita yar? We did this special. Well, to start, it's one of your favorite. Attack on Titan. I'm talking about Attack on Titan. On the year 2017, Ishiyama was part of an SnK interview where they asked him basic Q&A questions. Now, within this interview, there wasn't any actual footage, but the interview went something along the lines of this. So what's your favorite drawing tool? If I had to pick, I would say a 9mm 2B pencil. It's both thick and soft. Come in. Yeah, what was your talking? Don't worry about it. Yeah, it appears you have a phone call. Sorry, I have to take this. Hello? Are you talking to Ishiyama? Yeah? Ask him what his favorite manga is. What? I don't think that's it. Ask him what his favorite manga is. Okay, I gotta go. Bye. So, what is your favorite manga? We did it. Prior to reading this interview, I've never heard or seen anything made about this guy. Hell, not even Blue Lock was out yet. Knowing Ishiyama's taste and his amazing storytelling ability, there's no way a manga he deems as a masterpiece could be bad. Right? A common theme about all of his works is the ideology of human nature and the behavior on why people act or do the things they do, whether that be something immoral or something good. Take Blue Lock for example. Blue Lock is a series that has taken the anime community by a storm. The most recent World Cup plays a part of its rise, but nonetheless, you can't go anywhere without seeing edits, screenshots, cosplays, or people in comment sections saying, "Blue Lock is real!" The idea of being the best, or in this case an egoist, is a term used within this show and is the driving force. Every single character within this show, whether that be Erza, Potegus, Romekante, Aang, sorry, that was a bad joke.
I don't find you funny.
Wants to produce or be the best striker in the world. To do that, you not only have to be the best, but beat the best as well. But at what cost? Having a massive ego, that is. Woo! Throughout the anime and the manga, seeing the way the different characters act and change as the series progresses is all very interesting. Isagi is a completely different character compared to his older self. The man will literally call you the most vile, inhumane insult in the world, but act completely normal the next day. Grab her waist, push her in close. How does it feel to be the clown of my story? Jagaaan, As Goodwills, Billion Dogs are all mangas that makes you really look at yourself as a human. But out of all of Muneyuki's works, the one that stuck out to me the most is We Did This. The story mainly follows a boy named Tobio. Tobio is an ordinary high school kid who spends most of his time with his 3 other friends, Maru, Isami, and Paisen. They're your typical degenerate group. They're immature, materialistic, and only care about money and having fun. They're also often targets of bullying and harassment. They attend Ushitachi High, and across from their school is Yabugo High School. This is going to be an important detail later on. From the very beginning, Tobio only goals and aspiration is living a normal life. He has no dreams or goals, but at the very least, hopes to have a fun and long life. One day, they're all messing around in the hallway of their school. Hey! Why have you come back? What year did you graduate? What, you don't remember? It's been 2 years. 2 years? Don't you have a job yet? Well, you know, are you still living with your parents? I'd suggest hanging out with other people, lest your future looks like his. Did I forget to mention that Paisen is a lazy bum? After this, they decide to cheer up Paisen by going to a karaoke when Mushroom Head leaves to go take a leak. And is that the bullies from earlier? I think that's the bullies from earlier. They tie him up, put him in a van, and put him into a fight club. Long story short, Mushroom Head wins the fight, and with this win, you would think he would be allowed to leave. I mean, this guy said so, right? This can't be good. After this incident, this was the oh my god, holy hell. Tobio was set on revenge. He was tired of the constant harassment he and his friends were experiencing. So as revenge, they go online and learn how to make a plastic bomb.
No, I'm not sure about that one.
You would think the story is set in America. Now, with this newfound knowledge, as a prank and revenge, they come up with a plan. Their plan consisted of sneaking into Yabugo High in the middle of the night, dressed in all black, and place the plastic bombs all over the windows of the school. Morning arrives and they agree to meet at the rooftop of their school to conclude the finale of their revenge. One by one, each bomb goes off, shattering each window as they plan. Their plan was a success. Students are running out of the building in confusion. They're laughing, dancing, when all of a sudden, flames springs from the windows. Students are yelling in agony. This is when Tobio and his friends realize the true extent of what they have done. Tobio's average life was gone, and this was the beginning of We Did It. Everything felt like an out-of-body experience. Panic stretched across their face. Denial was the only thing they could think of. Hey, there's no way we did that, right? Like, there's no way we caused that. Every single event they do, they're reminded of that incident. Lives were lost. People they once knew were dead, and in some ways, what they wished for came true. I remember this one scene when Tobio came back after the fire. After a long day of acting like nothing happened, on their TV, news breaks out. And this leak, 6 people have died. Man, what are we gonna do? Those damn delinquents. Must have been someone with a grudge or something. He quickly changes the channel, and on surface level, Tobio brushes this off. But deep inside, he's filled with guilt and regret. And for once, we've seen Tobio reach his limit. He sits in his bathtub and says, "So 6 people have died." This is the face of someone who has realized the true extent of what he has done. Update arrives, and the next morning, 6 casualties spiked up to 10. Police investigation concludes the cause of the explosion was due to a propane tank set up in the school, and CCTV captured a photo of the boys. Now, their identities wasn't revealed thanks to them wearing animal masks, but surely no one is stupid enough to place a bomb Oh, well, I guess that's why he's a dropout, right? What lies ahead for the rest of the story is watching how each and every one of them handle the situation. What's interesting is that when one is placed in a bad situation, their true characters is exposed. And in some cases, you learn your life can switch in almost in an instant. This ties into the concept of human nature, and the way the author perceives this concept is really well done. For starters, Python concludes that it would be best to stay quiet and offers them hush money. At first, they disapprove of this, but figured it would be best, since they're afraid of the possibility of hurting their social life. So each and every one of them takes the money. Every one of them has a reason for taking the money. Isami takes it to avoid having his social life dead. Tobia takes it to go back to a normal life. Countless events happen throughout the story, and on one occasion, they decide to leave the country. Only problem with this is that Python's sketch is known throughout all of Japan. In the midst of the airport, seconds away from securing a new life, Python gets captured and the operation is at a halt. With Python captured and a confirmation that the 3 other individuals participated in this event, from this point forward, there was no way any of them could return. So with this, starts their run. The characters in this manga are some of the most relatable and human characters I've come across. For the most part. They start out as dumb high schoolers who after a series of events finds their lives sprawling out of control and becoming complete chaos. All of the characters at some point fall to greed, money, lust, and revenge as a way to cope for an atrocious event. And a lot of the things they do make sense for their situation. The first to distance himself from everyone after the incident is Isami. Isami is heavily defined by his obsessive escapism with sex for the majority of the series. After the incident, he tries to kill himself but fails when a rope snaps, and he takes it as a sign to live on. At some point in the manga, Isami gets confronted as a person who caused the fire. You know what his response was? He whips out a pistol. How the hell did he even obtain a gun in Japan? Mushroom Head got to be the strongest candidate for the fakest character hands down. On front face, he may seem like a timid kid, loyal to his friend, but out of all the characters, he's the most manipulative, hypocritical, and thieving out of the bunch. I think his character best illustrates the story's cynical theme perfectly. What he does isn't limited to just strangers. No one is safe. Even the ones he calls his friends. I've seen this guy steal money from his friends to buy prostitutes and foreign watches, assault someone with a taser, feed his friends laxative. Well, I can't lie, that was pretty funny. Unlike most people who self-reflect upon their mistakes, he only once thought, maybe I am a bad person. Did this stop him? Nope. I hate to admit this, but his actions provide both laughable and angry moments throughout the series. Tobia jumps out of windows, eats food out of garbage cans, and questions his own existence. He meets this homeless man who teaches him, I guess, the arts of living in the streets. This guy gave him some pants, shoes, a toothbrush, and even gave him insights on how things are. This guy's life is the embodiment of freedom. He gets to eat when he wants, sleeps when he wants, and in Tobia's eyes, he looked up to him. That's until this guy said,
"Lend me that ass. Why don't you win it?"
Wait, stop. Whoa!
But you have never tried.
Huh? Why would I?
Don't you know what it means to live?
Well, now that you mention, wait, that's not the issue here. I don't want to do it in the first place.
Broaden your horizons. Free yourself.
Not a chance. Python is that one dude that hangs around his old high school, even though he graduated a few years back. He's almost never referred to his real name, but that fits the nature of his character perfectly. He's extremely happy and jokes in the most weirdest situations, and he genuinely treasures the friendship he has with the 3 other characters. Ironically, for being the oldest, he's also the only one who doesn't desire sex. He, out of all the characters, is probably my favorite. You're gonna like him. There's also other characters like Ichihashi and other female leads. Isahachi was the leader of the delinquents. He by far has had the best character development out of all the characters. He isn't just a one-dimensional and evil character. He goes from harassing others just for fun to experiencing what it's like being an outcast and slowly develops into a likable guy. Other than that, there's this detective, but he doesn't really play a major role in the story. He just leaves his 2 cents here and there. As for the female cast in this manga, it's honestly probably the worst thing about this manga. The females in this manga are quite literally one-dimensional. Renko is probably the best out of the two, but every other girl in this series is either for the streets or doesn't get enough panel time. Screen time? Panel time? You get the point. The art in this manga is graphic and subtle when it needs to be. The pseudo-realistic art style nicely fits the gritty tone of this series. Character expressions are vivid with emotions. Dark atmosphere and the use of shading fits what the series is going for. The quality fluctuates at times, heavily depending on the severity of a scene. But then again, if you want something with insane art, reading his past works like Jagaaan or Blue Lock is where his art shines. When it comes to making a video that isn't a top 10 or an anime recommendation, I tend to find it hard to know how far I should go when describing the series. Should I cover the entirety of the manga from beginning to end, or should I just leave enough detail so that you could experience some of the events unfold blindly? And so with that, when it comes to a manga like We Did It, it's one of those series that is really hard to summarize in one video. This manga is very different when compared to other seinen mangas I've read before. It has an intriguing and unique story that sets the tone for a roller coaster of events and emotions. The story is dark but at times becomes lighthearted. It's intense and keeps you on the edge of your seat, leaving you wanting to know what happens next. Kaneshiro Muneyuki does an excellent job of developing the four friends into their own individual people. The uncomfortable feeling the scenes leave you serves a purpose. Each character asks himself the same question: what is the meaning of life, and how can you move forward from your past? No matter how much time progresses, they'll always remember the bombing and the fact that they were the ones who did it. After reading the entirety of this manga, I can honestly see why Ishiyama rated it so highly and even went as far as to call it a masterpiece. Now, the interview was way back in 2017, so his favorite manga most likely switched by now, but nonetheless, it's pretty interesting to go back and see what his favorite manga was at that time. So, on that note,
Eren Jaeger.